Put it on record that was me. That murder was me. That murder was me. That murder was me. That murder was me. Even when they're 16, they're on drugs or in gangs. Why the fuck did this kid do that? That kid, your brother, or whoever it is, committed suicide. That murder was me. Tuttle made an appointment and I went and see Paul Castellano again. We had to put it on record that was me. That murder was me, was me, was me, was me. That kid, your brother, or whoever it is, committed suicide. That was me. That murder was me. This is what the Gotti family did to you. They're not your friend. They used you and your brother's death to hate me or to say something about me.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're going to talk about the murder of Alan Kaiser. And now Sammy Gravano is lying about a lot of this stuff, and it's pretty easy to prove. He said a lot of telling things in his show that maybe some people might not have picked up on, but I did. What's going on, Salvatore? How you doing? Latin Butterfly, what's up? William, what's going on? Buffalo Bill, how are you? Mike Sula, how are you? Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate everyone that takes the time to watch this show. Got a lot of content dropping. If you guys want to help out the show, you can donate through the Cash App at Chatting with Staxx. And I appreciate every single dollar that gets donated. I got a lot of content for you guys. I got, there's an interview with Frank DiMatteo coming up. He was with the Colombo family and got transferred to the DeTrafficante family? DeCavalcante family? William, Brooklyn, how are you? So we're going to start off where we picked up at. Shout out to Sonny Grasso. He was supposed to join me, but he has prior engagements, but he'll be on tomorrow. We're going to discuss some things. So let's get down to business. First off, Sammy Gravano talks about, he says that his partner there had a gun, a shotgun, right? So he said that the gun was loaded with birdshot. How does Sammy know what bullets were in the shotgun if he didn't have the shotgun? That's number one. How? How would Sammy Gravano know what kind of bullets are in the shotgun if he didn't have the shotgun? So his boy's going to have, Melito's going to have the shotgun and he's going to say, let me check the bullets on that. No, that's not what happened. Sammy Gravano can't get his lies together. Let's get down to the video.
Hurt me. If you want to be part of that, go ahead. But know and understand, it's a myth. It's not true. So that's all I could say about that. And I don't think I ever talked about it this much before. But I know you're a fact finder. Check it out. Check my story out, James.
Now, this is the new version of the story, and then it goes back to the old version, and we're going to get into it.
And hold my feet to the fire. I got so many requests about it, and from the family as well.
So he's saying that he got requests from the family to talk about the murder. That's a lie. Kim, how are you? He's saying that he got requests from the family to talk about the murder.
The story that's out there is not true. So I decided to say it. It might have been in my podcast, but I think that it's important for me to put it out now. It was in 1977, the year of the Son of Sam. In 1976, I was a MAID member. I had a small little after-hour club on 18th Avenue.
So, for all the people that were talking shit last time, he was a MAID member in 1976, allegedly. So, we heard the story last time on how he got into a fight with these guys, some bullshit story, how he fell off the curb and he was fighting a bunch of people and he jumped on a guy and he's going to work on him and these other guys jumped him. That was in the last one. So I'm going to fast forward this video and we're going to get to the spot where we left off last time. But so he says he tried to kill this guy, right? He says Alan Kaiser and the guy came out of a house. Not true. Alan Kaiser didn't come out of that house. Alan Kaiser was walking down the street. So there's a bunch of lies that Sammy tells in this video. Another one is he tried to kill this guy, right? The other guy. He tried to kill this guy and he missed him. He ends up killing an innocent kid. Now, he says that Paul Castellano praised him. That can't be true. Paul Castellano would not praise Sammy Gravano for killing an innocent kid. It wouldn't happen. He would be reprimanded for that. Now, let's get back to the video.
And
Ivan, how are you? Joe, how are you?
Michael DeBat's father left me this place.
If you guys want to see part one, go check out part one. There's a lot of information on that one. But we're going to start off where we left off last time.
Louis Melito came out with a pistol.
Hey, Costello, how are you?
I put the pistol on my lap. He had a shotgun. Tato's nephew had another gun. I'm not sure what kind.
How are you not sure what kind, but you know what kind of bullets are in Louis Melito's gun? That makes no sense. How does he know what kind of bullets are in Louis Melito's shotgun, but he doesn't know what kind of gun the driver has?
He said, what do you want to do, Sam? You go back to that fucking place. The car was still there. I laid in the back seat.
Hey, Latin Butterfly, how are you? Thanks for joining me this afternoon or this morning.
I said, when the guy comes out, you saw who he was. He's a big guy. You can't miss him. Open your window. Stop there. Open your window and tell him, where is Avenue P? Like you're asking for directions to somewhere and you're lost. When he comes over to the car, I'm going to shoot him in the fucking face.
Mr. Gangster here. I'm going to shoot him in the fucking face. But he didn't shoot him, right? He alleges that he didn't shoot him. He was the backup shooter, but the guy was running at him. If Alan Kaiser was running at him, why was he shot in the back of the head? His story doesn't add up.
You get out, Louis, and finish. I was going to do it from the back seat of the car. I was laying down on the seat.
Did you hear what he just said? Louis, you're going to shoot him and I'll get out and finish him, he says. Pretty telling, ain't it? I don't think he remembers telling the details of this story. Now we're picking it apart and it's just not adding up.
I couldn't see him come in, out, do anything. When he comes over to the car, I'm going to shoot him in the fucking face.
So he says he's going to shoot him.
You get out, Louis, and finish.
And then you get out and finish him. So who's the shooter, Sammy?
I was going to do it from the back seat of the car. I was laying down on the seat. I couldn't see him come in, out, do anything. I had my gun just pointed up. As soon as I would have saw his face, I would have blew his fucking face apart.
And you're telling me that all this stuff transpired, gunshots are going off, and you just laid in the back seat of the car?
We stood in a little while. Then he said, I think he's coming out. He's coming down. Louis said, that's him, pull up. We pulled up. We went into motion, into the plan. There was two guys. It wasn't just him. There was another guy. I had no interest in the other guy. When we pulled up, Louis rolled down the window and just about, you know where, and Aldo took off like a rocket. Obviously, he must have been told that guys who beat him up was a made guy. But anyway, let's get back to it. He started running. Louis Melito got out and threw a shot with the shotgun. He hit him. But the only thing is it wasn't loaded with 00 Buck Magnum. It was loaded with birdshot. Guys must have took it up on the roof and shot pigeons with it or whatever, and it wasn't loaded the right way. He staggered a little bit, but kept running.
So how does Sammy know what kind of bullets were in the gun? If he didn't see it happen, he didn't see the shooting happen. So how does he know what kind of bullets were in that gun?
Danny yelled out, "You're back, Louis, you're back." The other guy ran at Louis.
And you're sitting in the back seat not doing anything at this point, right? You're just sitting there with your gun, sitting there quiet, not doing shit. That's why you know he's lying. This story is pretty easy to pick apart. Raekwon, how are you? Joe Della, what's good? Stevie B, thanks for joining me this morning. His story is so easy to pick apart. He's not a very good liar.
I couldn't get a position to shoot him. I wanted to protect the shooter, Louis. This guy was going at him.
But you didn't, huh, Sammy? You didn't protect the shooter, huh? Because you were the shooter. That's why you didn't protect the shooter.
Louis turned. A matter of a foot or two away, they almost looked at each other face to face, and Louis shot him in the chest, and he went down. Louis then put the gun to his face or his head and pulled the trigger again. I couldn't see it 100%.
You couldn't see 100%, but you seen the rest of it happen, and you didn't do nothing. Total lies. This one really bothers Sammy too, because he knows this case right here haunts him at night. He loses sleep over this one. And when people mention the name Alan Kaiser, it really gets to them. But we're going to expose the truth no matter what. We don't care about Sammy's feelings over here. We care about getting the truth. And I got a big surprise for you, Sammy. Huge surprise. You're going to love this one. Hold on. Let me give you guys a preview of what I got to come for Sammy Gravano. He's really going to like this episode. Who's Jack Russo, Sammy? Who was Jack Russo? The question Sammy doesn't want to answer. What about Nick Scabetta, Sammy? We're going to dive deep into that little situation of yours. You don't want to miss that one, Sammy. Maybe that's why you blocked me on social media. Maybe that's why Sammy Gravano blocked me on social media. Because he knows I'm exposing him. He doesn't want to face it. He wants to slip it under the rug so no one knows. Well, we're going to blast this everywhere. If you can, do me a favor and share this video. Share part 1 too. I'll put a link for it in the description of this video. We need to get this video everywhere so Sammy knows exactly what's going on. He blocked me. You believe that shit? I tried to tag him in the video. It won't let me because he blocked me.
His body was in the street. I wasn't interested in him before or after.
So why do you have to finish him off if you shot him once? Yaz, how are you? Thanks for joining us. Damn it, Mandy, how are you?
He wasn't a target. I have no idea why he ran at a shooter, a guy shooting at another guy.
He didn't. He was shot in the back of the head. So Sammy Gravano is lying. And another thing, this part's coming up, right? Emerald, how are you? This part's coming up where he says that Paul Castellano praised him for what he did and that he had balls. Now, do you think the boss of the Gambino family would be praising someone that let the target get away and killed an innocent 16-year-old kid? Do you think that would be what happened? I highly doubt it. But we're going to hear that right from the horse's mouth.
I'm not sure if he was on drugs, just completely lost his mind. I don't know what his thing was, but I had no interest in it at that point. Louis jumped back in the car. I told Danny, shoot around the fucking avenue. He's hit. Maybe he'll collapse a half a block away, and then we're going to finish it. We heard the same thing. Our neighborhood, when there was things, there was always cops. We hear the sirens. We pulled away and left. The next day, it was in the paper. That kid, his name was Alan Kaiser or something like that, 16 years old.
He acts like he don't know the name. He blocked me. Yes, he did. Now, why would he block me? What's he afraid of?
We all shook our head. Why the fuck did this kid do that? It had nothing to do with him. All he had to do was go right back into his house or that house, or whoever house that was, or just run the other way or do nothing. And he would be alive today. I went back to Tom. I told him the story. Again, like I said, it was in the papers already about the kid's age. What about this kid? And I said, I don't know who he is. I told Tato the story. He understood it. Tato told me, even when they're 16, they're on drugs or in gangs. You know what you was when you were 16. Yeah, I could damn well blow your fucking head off when I was 16.
You see what he's doing? He's trying to justify his actions here. He's trying to justify why they did this. He's blaming the kid for his own death. It's really disgusting. But listen to what he says when he goes to the boss of the Gambino family, allegedly praises him for what he did, even though the target got away.
It's a shame that he's that age. It's a shame that he did what he did. Tano made an appointment and I went and see Paul Castellano again. We had to put it on record that that was me. That murder was me. My crew. We went in Jimmy Brown's club again. I walked in with the cast, crutches. We went in Jimmy's club. We went on the back porch.
He has to say, he walks in with the crutches, right? Yeah, I walked in with the crutches. It's all part of the story.
Did what he did. Tano made an appointment and I went and see Paul Castellano again. We had to put it on record that that was me. That murder was me. My crew. We went in Jimmy Brown's club again. I walked in with the cast, crutches. We went in Jimmy's club. We went on the back porch. I explained to him just what I explained to you.
So now he's saying that the boss of the Gambino family went to Brooklyn to go meet him after this murder took place, right?
Precisely what happened. He said, so the target got away. Yes.
Yes, but I was just laying in the back seat doing nothing, sir. And listen to what he says the boss's response is. It makes no sense.
You still want to take him? Yes. I'm giving you my permission.
I'm giving you my permission to kill the guy I already told you to kill, but he got away. So now he's giving you permission for the second time? Is that what you're saying, Sammy? You expect us to believe this bullshit?
I'm giving you my permission. But you have to excuse me for 1 minute. I want to talk to Tano alone. I went back into the club off the porch.
He went off the porch, right? And he goes and waits while the boss has a discussion with Tato. And what do you think Tato told the boss? He told him how Sammy killed this kid with a shotgun. And listen to what he says the boss's response is.
Him and Tato, Paul Castellano and Tato walked back into the club. Tato was smiling a bit.
Now remember, the target got away and he killed an innocent kid. And now listen to his response and what the boss said.
Paul told me, heal up a little bit. I shook his hand. Me and Tato walked out of the club. Tato was still smiling. I said, what happened, Tato? Well, why are you smiling, bro? What was said? Nothing. He thinks you're crazy. Why am I crazy? Sammy, not for what you did.
What did you do, Sammy? You were just laying on the back seat. You didn't do anything, right? You didn't do nothing. You were just laying on the back seat with your pistol in your hand, not doing anything. That's what you allege. But that's not what happened, huh, Sammy?
You were doing a payback. As far as the kid, it's a shame. 16 years old, but he did what he did. My nephew told me the same exact fucking thing you told me. He said, but here's why he thinks you're crazy. He thinks you're fucking got balls like an elephant. If the cops came, you were dead. You can't even get off the fucking seat. You would have been.
So the boss is praising him that the target got away. He killed an innocent 16-year-old kid. And the boss is praising him because he was involved, because he laid on the seat and didn't do anything. And somehow he's getting praised for that. How many people here believe this bullshit?
Shootout with cops for laying on a seat. You were finished. You were dead. You just don't give a fuck.
You were laying on the seat doing nothing at all. You didn't do nothing, right, Sammy?
No, I don't. He said to rest up. Good. I'll go home and take a nap. And then I'm going to go out and kill this motherfucker.
He's trying to act like he's this ruthless killer, but you didn't do nothing, right, Sammy? You were the backup shooter. Guys running at Louis Melito, and you didn't do shit. Louis did everything, right? He shot the guy, the kid, finished the kid off while you just laid in the back seat doing nothing, right? How many people here believe this shit? You can't tell me you believe this guy.
He left, hugged me, kissed me. Be safe. And I left.
Paul would have been furious. I don't think they ever had a conversation with Paul about this situation. They could have got killed themselves for missing the target. So I don't buy it.
I never heard anything of this story.
Yeah, because you never told anyone. Because he never told anyone. Nobody knew about this story until he cooperated. Why? Because he never told anyone. He didn't have a conversation with Paul Castellano about this. They would have killed him. He never says what happened to the guy, right? He never says what happened to the wounded guy who got shot in the back with the birdshot. What happened to him?
I told the police what happened when I cooperated.
You told them half-truths, Sammy. You're not a good liar.
Government and the police, they never knew. Nobody ever knew. His family, nobody.
You just said you had a conversation with the boss. What do you mean no one ever knew?
And I left. I never heard anything of this story. I told the police what happened when I cooperated, the government.
He just said that he had a conversation with Paul Castellano and the other people, right? About this situation. But no one ever talked about it again. I don't buy it.
And the police, they never knew. Nobody ever knew. His family, nobody.
Nobody. You got that right, Sammy. Nobody knew. Not even Paul Castellano.
That's what motivated me. I had some phone calls from members of his family. They seem to have known the story somehow after my arrest. When I confessed, they know part of the story. Some of the things they heard in this story were total bullshit. And they knew it. They were decent people. And they understood.
They understood? He's trying to say that the family understood.
And I think I owe them this story and the truth. I hope this gives them some sort of closure.
He says that the kid committed suicide. How would this give him closure? Total lies. This story is total fabrication.
If it doesn't, there's nothing I can do about it. That kid, your brother, or whoever it is, committed suicide.
Real respectful, right? Real respectful to the family. He committed suicide. He wasn't murdered. He was murdered by you, Sammy. You killed that kid. You're trying to put it on Louis Melito to make yourself look good. You are what's wrong with the world today. He should not be out able to walk around and be on podcasts and rubbing it in the victim's family's face. He should be under the jail.
And I think the world would understand. He was not the target.
Oh, he wasn't the target, but he committed suicide. The world will understand, right, guys? Does everybody understand? Because I don't get it.
He didn't have to die that night. We knew exactly who to kill. And it wasn't him. There's a lot of mafia hits that take place where there's people, witnesses, people, women screaming, running, this and that. They don't get killed. But if you run at a shooter, he don't know who you are. He don't know what you have. He has no idea what the fuck you're going to do.
And the backup shooter's not going to do nothing. So if you run at a shooter, don't worry. The backup shooter's just going to lay in the back seat, not do anything. He could see a little bit of it, but not the whole thing. But he won't do nothing. He'll just lay there with a gun because of his broken ankle. How convenient, right? Total lies. He should have picked a better underboss. This guy's total garbage. He's a liar. You can tell he's lying. And he's kind of messing up on his stories. They're changing. His story is changing. Now that he's on with OC Shorts, his story is totally different.
Anything that could come to him is you're going to tackle him or shoot him or stab him. He has no idea. So I have not even a bad opinion of Louis overreacting. No. He was actually inches away. I'm exaggerating, inches. He was a couple of feet away. And after I cooperated and told his story.
Once he cooperated and told his bullshit, 100% Nick Scabetta knew he was bisexual and had him whacked, blamed it on drugs. Well, don't worry, we're going to get into who Jack Russo was and Nick Scabetta. We're going to get into a whole story. I have a person that reached out and they are quite privy to a lot of this information. And he told me quite a bit of things. And I'm going to bring you the information. And I also, hold on, let's finish this video and we'll talk.
The police checked all this. And he was only a couple of feet away from Louis Melito, where Louis shot him. Wasn't on the sidewalk walking home with a girl with his books.
Listen, Alan Kaiser didn't come out of that house like he says. Here, we're going to bring it back to the beginning, and you can see the difference between the stories. He says they both came out of a house together. Not true.
Like some jerk-off reporters write. The Gotti family went to this family to make them hate me and tell them a bunch of lies.
The Gottis have nothing to do with this story. Absolutely nothing to do with this story. So why he would even bring the Gottis up is wild.
When you hear me, this is what the Gotti family did to you. They're not your friend. They used you and your brother's death to hate me or to say something about me. I don't know if you hate me or if you don't.
Come on, you don't know if they hate you. They might not get justice in this lifetime, Sammy, but they will get justice.
But that's what they did to you, the goddess. So that's the end of that story.
All right, now we're going to hear the bullshit that he told.
We had to put it on record that.
Here's his new version. Let's hear the new version.
16-year-old Alan
With his little lap dog here.
Kaiser. When people discuss this about yourself, they often say that this is one of the killings that was kind of left off when you had your arrangement with the FBI and the DA. But it is my understanding that you fully disclosed all events to the FBI and the district attorney when you made your deal. That's all correct, right?
Oh, without a doubt. That's something I talked about. And they, there's guys out there like what we were just talking about, how they're distorting this genre, talking about each other and doing all these things. And there's one where I was talking about I have no regrets. I was talking about a story that had nothing to do with anything like that. And then they put that in. They said, here, look, he has no regrets. And he showed this kid's picture. Now, of course, I had regrets. They cut out my conversation. They just put in that one part. If you hear the whole conversation, you hear I do have regrets about a lot of things. Now, about that kid, there was a guy, there was a contract on him. I can't think of his name right now. And that's
Aldo Candido.
Who?
Is it Aldo Candido?
Yes, that's him, Aldo. And he was the guy we had the contract on alone. We hunted him down and we caught him going into a house. We went and get guns. I had I had a beef with him. I got jumped. They broke my ankle.
So now he had a beef with this guy. He got jumped. They broke his ankle. But he said he stepped off the curb and broke his ankle. His story's changing. So now they broke his ankle. Who broke the ankle, Sammy? You conveniently needed a broken ankle, right? So you could lay down in the back seat, not do anything, and the boss could praise you for killing an innocent kid. Is that what you're telling us, Sammy?
I had a cast from my foot all the way to my thigh. So I was laying in the back seat of the car, and Louis Melito was sitting in the passenger seat.
Thomas,
Tato's nephew was sitting in
Paul,
the
how are you?
driver's seat. And I had said, when he comes out of that house, pull up, roll down the window and tell him, listen, we were on Kings Highway. Where's Avenue P? Like you're lost. When he comes over to the window to explain, I'm going to shoot him in the fucking face with the pistol. And then we'll get out and finish it. But he must have known the guy that they beat up was a May guy, was me. So when he did come out of the house with that kid.
That's a lie. He did not come out of the same house with the kid. Total lies. Kevin, what's good? It's called Nadia's Request, the movie that I was in.
Alan Kaiser, it was his house.
It's on IMDb.
Louis rolled the window down and said, asked for directions. He just immediately started running. The kid stood there.
The kid stood there, right? So you're telling me Alan Kaiser stood there, and then once you started shooting, you ran at the shooter? Does anybody buy this? Anyone? I don't buy it.
Jumped out of the car with a shotgun. Threw a shot. There was pellets in it. They probably used it to kill pigeons on the roof. They never reloaded it with regular slugs.
How did he know what kind of bullets were in the gun? If he didn't see anything, he was laying in the back seat. So how did he know what kind of bullets were in the shotgun?
It was birdshot. He got hit in the back and kept running. The guy driving yelled to Louis, "Louis, you got your back." He turned around.
And you're the backup shooter, right? So what? The guy ran this way and the kid's over here? Like, total lies. He can't get his story straight. Louis, watch your back. Because the kid was in the same area as the guy, allegedly, right? Came out of the same house. So you're telling me what? They ran two different directions, and then after you shot that guy, the kid turned around and ran at you? He can't get it together.
And he shot this kid, Alan Kaiser. Now they're saying that's not true, that I shot him. I had asked 100 times, let me see his autopsy report, if he was shot with a shotgun or a pistol. Now, I always said that if I had the angle and I wasn't in that position and I saw him running at Louis Melito, I would have shot him. I'm a backup shooter now. I would have definitely shot him, but that's what I got to do. But I didn't. Now, to dump on it, I say I dumped it on Louis. That does me no good whatsoever. I admitted to the murder, being part of the murder. Dumping it on Louis would do nothing for me.
Now, who disagrees with his statement right there? Do you think him dumping the murder on Louis Melito would benefit him, right? Does anyone think that? It definitely would benefit him to dump the murder on Louis Melito, so he doesn't look like a child killer. And you're telling me that he went to the boss, Paul Castellano, and told him that they killed an innocent kid. He said no one knew about the murder. No one. So for him to go and admit that to the boss, total bullshit. I don't buy it.
Zero. And it was checked and double checked by the FBI, state police, prosecutors.
The FBI would have did anything to get John Gotti, including let this kid get murdered by this sick fuck.
They don't want you going in and making a mistake or a lie. So that was checked over and over and over again. They'll say I never talked with the family, apologized. I said the next day when we got in and looked who got shot,
the next day when we got in and looked who got shot, what? That's when you apologized to the family?
He was 16. We all looked at it like, oh my God.
You all looked at it like, oh my God, but then the boss praised you for letting the target get away and killing a 16-year-old kid. That makes no sense, Sammy. I don't believe you. And why'd you block me on social media, Sammy? Why am I blocked on YouTube? Because you don't want to see this video.
But it was like, why did this kid do that? Nobody was trying to kill him. No, he wasn't part of the contract. All he had to do was stand there or run back into his house or run the other way. We wouldn't have tried to kill him. The guy we tried to kill was the guy Aldo. That's the guy who was supposed to go.
Yeah, Paul was happy that he killed the kid. Paul had Roy whacked, his top hitman, for killing without permission. He wasn't killing a 17-year-old. I highly doubt Paul was happy at all. He said he was praising him. He let the target get away. He was happy that this happened, he says.
And it was looked at and researched by everybody. State police, federal organized crime, prosecutors. I'm sure they looked at autopsies, checked my story out if I'm telling the truth.
Oh, you're sure? You're sure, right? But you don't know. He's saying he's sure that they checked it all out, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know for a fact. Paul, what's going on? Damn it, Mandy. I hope you and your mom are okay. He apologized to the family publicly. He will never do a day for this. Why not tell the truth and apologize to the family? Everyone knows what he did. Look at this talking rodent wearing glasses and a hat. Don't worry, we got a real good one coming up. Who is Jack Russo? Sammy Gravano's little fling. The questions Sammy doesn't want an answer. He does not want to answer these questions. He doesn't even want to talk about it. Why not, Scammy? Don't worry, we're going to talk about it.
And not one word was ever said. Now, I'll go a little further. Later on in life, my daughter spoke with his daughter, his sister, or his aunt. My son did too. My son was making arrangements for me to talk with them. I wanted to say, listen, I apologize.
I apologize, but your brother committed suicide. Is that what you wanted to say to him? Crazy. Alan Kaiser had just turned 16. Did they not know that Aldo looked like what Aldo looked like? Crazy.
He wasn't meant to be hit. But
he wasn't meant to be hit, but we're going to blame it on him anyway.
They refused to talk to me, or it never happened. But, and being his age, these people who are fucking with me all the time, they want to make me look horrible. I didn't care. I killed a 16-year-old kid.
He did. That's the truth. He killed a 16-year-old kid. Francis says Paul Castellano would never agree with that because he didn't know. Paul Castellano didn't know about this situation. They probably agreed to keep it quiet between themselves. When you see it's not right, not the right person, you don't pull the trigger, you fucking tool, and then go finish him off, right?
Then I'm blaming Louis Melito. Why would I do all these things? Don't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense.
There's nothing I cop to the murder. Whether I'm the guy who shot him or Louis shot him, to the government makes no difference. You're going to do life without parole. Makes no difference. And Louis is dead, so why would I dump it on him?
Make yourself look good in front of the jury? They didn't bring this case up at the murder trial, at Gotti's trial. They didn't bring this case up like that. They held on to this case. They kept it quiet because they knew it would make you look like an animal, which you are. Squeak, squeak, Sammy.
To try to look good, to try to do, it just makes no sense whatsoever. And what really bothers me with this whole thing, occasionally I think about it, is that they'll
Randy, what's going on?
Drag this family through the mud again, over and over and over again, not to help them, to hurt me. They can give a shit less about these people, whoever's left, whether it's the sister, the aunt, or whoever it is. They can care less about them. They just want to drag it through the mud to make me look bad that I killed a kid, and then
It's true. You did. You killed the kid. You said it doesn't matter to the government, right? So why does it matter now? Why don't you just tell the truth? Instead of putting it on Louis Melito, like you were laying in the back seat doing nothing. And Paul Castellano praised you for that, saying you got balls because you didn't do shit. I don't buy any of this. Why can't he be charged? Because he got a deal to bring down John Gotti. That's why. He's dumping now, though. He sure is.
I blame Louis Melito. None of it makes sense.
It makes perfect sense why you would blame Louis Melito.
I'm actually, this is the last time I really want to discuss this.
Because he gets bothered when he's caught out in a lie. Oh, this is the last time you want to discuss it? You don't want to go into any more detail, Sammy? Why? Because I picked apart your little your alibi that you're laying in the back seat. So how did you know what kind of bullets were in the shotgun? If you didn't see anything, you didn't see shit, right? You were laying down in the back seat. How did you know that birdshot was in the shotgun?
I'm discussing it openly, honestly. They said they have autopsy reports. Show me an autopsy report where he was shot with a shotgun or a pistol. Whether he was shot in the chest, the back, where? Show me. Don't just say that you got these documents. Show me them.
Why do we got to show you anything? You're the one that did it. You know where he was shot, Sammy. Don't start with all that tough guy shit, Schmeagle. You need to go call your little boyfriend. Because you're going to answer to him, too, when you pass away. Maybe Jack will be at the bar waiting for you.
The way it looked like to me, it looked like he got shot in the chest, the front. And when he went down, Louis put the shotgun to his head, I think. And
you think? I thought you didn't see nothing, Sammy. You were laying in the back seat. You didn't see shit. You think? He put it to his head. You think? He can't get it together. This guy is desperately trying to cover his trail in front of OC Shorts. OC Shorts isn't even from the US. I don't know why he's even covering this type of shit. Now he's all buddy-buddy with Mr. Gravano, the biggest rat in the country.
Pulled it. But you got to remember, I'm laying in a back seat and I have an angle. Now, I could be wrong. I doubt it. But I could be wrong. The way I spotted it, the way it looked at to me. And I didn't see the kid running at Louis. It was the driver.
Oh, you didn't see shit now, right? You didn't. Oh, it was an angle, so you really couldn't see anything. You were laying in the back seat. This guy can't get it together.
Who? And now they'll say he's blaming the driver. I'm not blaming the driver. The driver did what he was supposed to do. He's telling Louis there's a threat. The guy's.
You're the backup shooter. How come you didn't do what you were supposed to do, Sammy? You had a gun. What were you doing? Polishing your gun in the back seat? Not doing anything, right? He's making himself not culpable to anything. He's just in the back seat polishing his gun, taking inventory on Louis Melito's bullets in the shotgun. That's what he's doing. What he's not doing is telling the truth.
Coming at him. A backup shooter like me is supposed to shoot him. I couldn't get the angle or I would have shot him. So I'm not trying to back away from that situation in any way, shape, or form. But to respond to them, I don't want to respond to these people. And what they're doing is, if I do that, I make this worse and worse for this family.
Nah, I think you already did that, Sammy. You made it worse enough for the family. I think the family likes when you get exposed for lying. I could be wrong, but if it was me, this weasel would go. If he was part of my family, he wouldn't last long.
And my heart goes out to them to lose a 16-year-old kid. But if he was a 16-year-old kid and he was doing something crazy, I mean, I was a 16-year-old kid. And if I was in that situation, you better not underestimate me because I was only 16 years old. You would be making the biggest mistake of your life.
Ah, you're a punk. You were a punk then and you're a punk now, Sammy. Jeff from Mob Talk Radio said Sammy killed him because he was sleeping with him. What? Yeah, I don't believe nothing that guy says.
And we had no idea how old he was, who he was. No reason to hurt him. I mean, we did hits in front of 10,000 people with Castellano. Not one single person who wasn't supposed to die died.
And that was what, 8 years earlier? He didn't talk about this at all to anybody, not Paul Castellano, no one. Because if he did, there would be a record of it. Somebody would have talked on a wire about it. They kept this shit quiet that the kid got killed. They didn't want people to know. If they knew that the kid got killed, they would be killed. So Sammy is full of shit.
We do that intentionally. The last thing I want to do is whack somebody who there's no reason for me to whack them. So, and if I did, I admitted to murder, I would have said, yeah, I shot him. Yeah. It makes no difference in my time.
It would have made a difference in John Gotti's trial if you admitted to shooting him. It would have made a huge difference because you would have looked like the monster that you are. They didn't want that. They held a lot of things back during that trial. They would have gave you anything, Sammy, to give him John Gotti. You were able to lie your way through everything and then come out and sell drugs with your family. Get involved with ecstasy with your daughter and your son. Well, guess what? I got someone from inside that little situation too that's going to tell us. And I caught your ass in another lie, Sammy. We got someone that's going to explain one of the lies that you tell on your show, and he's going to come on my show and explain how you lied. And that's going to be a good one. You don't want to miss that. It's coming soon.
I'm charged with the murder. Whether I shot him, whether Louis shot him, it makes no difference. There is no anything for me.
He's trying to like make it sound like, oh, there's no reason for him to lie. Why would he lie? He already charged with the murder. But the jury wasn't going to hear any of this shit, right?
To lie about this thing. And I got everything to lose because if they catch me in a lie, my deal goes down the drain. I go down the drain. Why would I lie?
You would lie so that they can get John Gotti and nail him to the wall like they did. He's a serial killer. Said he actually murdered 39 people. This man's a serial killer. No way he told Paul about the kid. He told so many different lies, 100%. Little Mario, what's going on? How have you been, man? Shout out to everyone that's watching. We got 53 people in the house. Make sure you hit the like button.
It's just these people trying to hurt me and come up with this story. It sounds horrible. It is horrible. A kid who's not supposed to get killed was 16 years old. That's horrible.
You didn't think it was horrible then. You guys were laughing and joking about it when it happened, right? Paul praised you about it, about how much of a psycho and how big your balls are, right, Sammy?
And I apologize to them. I did before. I'll do it again. I'm sorry that it happened.
Hollow ass apology. This guy is a bold-faced liar. And don't worry, we got more lies we're going to catch Sammy in. Don't forget Jack Russo, Sammy. How about Nick Scavetta? What was he going to tell? We got the truth coming. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I got a lot of great interviews dropping. I interviewed an Albanian gangster, a real Albanian gangster. Not like the other guy we all hear about. This guy's the real deal. Here, I'll show you a picture of him. That's him with the cigarette. And this is in one of the New York State penitentiaries. So he told me a story. Caro. I think that's how you say his name. Charo. But That interview will be dropping soon. I got interview with Frank DiMatteo. He tells me about getting transferred from the Colombo family to the Di Trafficante family. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, right? So he tells me about, we all know about when The Sopranos started, the TV show, and those mob guys were in the car and they were caught on tape talking about The Sopranos, saying, I know they're talking about us. He was in the car that day, and I got it on the interview. He tells me all about it. So you guys want to stay tuned for that. Make sure you go check out part 1 of Robert. I always forget how to say his name. Robert Miano. Part 1 of Robert Miano. He was in Donnie Brasco. On part 2, he explains about doing the role. And me and him worked together on a film recently. I can't wait for you guys to see it. A highlight reel will be out soon, and you guys will be able to see a lot of what I've been involved in. It's been incredible. Shout out to Paulie. Shout out to Dana. Shout out to Anthony. Everybody involved with the film. Shout out to Mike, Jose. And I played Kane in that film. You guys will see a lot of content coming. I'm going to drop some right now. And I hope you guys all have a great day. If you want to help out the show, you can donate to Cash App, Chatting with Staxx, or you can donate to Venmo, PayPal, Super Stickers, Super Chats. I'm working on getting a new laptop. And I'll see you guys soon. I'll be back on later on tonight. And I got some interviews dropping. So I hope you guys all have a great day. And remember, don't be a bitch.